Hello everybody and welcome back to another workout. Today, as you can tell, we have a 15-minute full body workout. It's super quick, but it's gonna still burn really bad. We don't take a ton of rest here, so it's just moving from movement to movement. This specializes more in core and abs, which I feel like is everybody's favorite, but we do start hitting some upper body. I'm gonna be making a full upper body video here soon, but I feel like this is kind of a nice tiptoe into that. We're gonna start just kind of lying down on our back, so let your arms relax, let your feet relax. Take a few breaths in and out just to get you set up before we move into some work here. You can bring one leg into the chest, stretch it out, just whatever you need to get a little warm, but don't worry, we'll warm you up properly and you'll get nice and sweaty really quickly. I love doing these workouts outside, but I feel like you definitely feel like the heat so much more, especially now that it's summer, but a good sweat is always really great. If you brought one knee into the chest, make sure you go ahead and switch and bring in the other one just to really even it out and get a nice symmetrical stretch on both sides. We're gonna be starting very soon here, so bring both knees into the chest, reach your arms down long by your side, lift your head and shoulders up and extend your legs out to 45, starting with 100. So begin pumping your arms for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Exhale, 2, 2, 3, 4, 5. Inhale, 2, 3, 4, 5. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5. Good. Keep going. We're starting out super intense. So if you can get through this, you can get through the whole workout, I promise you. But this is a great way to just activate the whole entire body. So keep going. Keep breathing, really squeeze your legs together and elongate through the toes as you roll the shoulders back and reach through the fingertips. Good, you're almost done. Keep going. You guys are killing it. Last few, make sure you're really pressing the ribs into the mat. Lift your feet up higher if your back's starting to arch. We want no arching in the back. I know it's burning, you guys are killing it. Last few and rest. Good, bend the knees into the chest, lower the head and shoulders down. We're gonna start out simple here with just some crunches. So bring those knees in front of you and just crunch up and down. Try and really think about squeezing those abs throughout the whole movement. Don't relax too much on the down, otherwise you lose a lot of activation. Roll the shoulders back as you lift up and now pick both feet up and continue that same motion. So crunch up and crunch down. It's really important here that your knees don't come over 90. When you bring your knees closer to your chest, it's gonna make this easier. And if you bring your knees farther away from you, it's gonna make it harder. Now bringing one leg straight down and the other one back up. So just straighten out the leg and lower it down and lift it back up. Again, keeping those knees farther from you is gonna make this exercise even harder. So if you wanna elevate it just a little bit more and amplify it a tiny bit more, lift your head up as the leg lowers down. It's just gonna help to activate that top ab, so it's gonna give you a little bit more burn there. Keep going. We're gonna repeat this going down and up. If you need to take a break, go ahead and take a break. You can also take out the crunch and just lower the leg up and down. Again, if you want to make this a little bit easier, because we don't want any arching in that back, once again, it's really important to have the ribs pressing into the mat so you can bring the knee closer to you. Now go ahead and switch the legs. So doing the same motion just on the other side, bringing the knee down and up. Good, you guys are killing it. I know this is already starting off pretty strong, but if you guys can get through the beginning, like I said, it makes the rest of the workout so much easier. And the good thing is it's only 15 minutes. So I don't want you to give up this whole entire workout. It is literally just 15 minutes of your day. So if you can do this, then imagine all the other amazing things you can do throughout the day. Maybe you're doing this at the end of the day. Well, then imagine what you can do tomorrow. Good, you made it. So now bring the knees into the chest, lift your head and shoulders up and begin to extend one leg out as the other one stays bent in and switch. So we're just switching the legs, similar motion kind of to what we were doing, but this time the head and chest is lifted and you're just switching the legs back and forth, grabbing your hands onto the other shin. You can kind of do a little pull in with the knee when it comes towards you. So pull and switch. Pull. Good. Bend both knees in and now extend both legs out while you reach the arms overhead. This is called a double leg stretch. So sweep everything back in and pull everything out long. I want you to think that someone's pulling your toes and someone's pulling your arms, but still rolling the shoulders down and pressing the ribs into the mat. That's going to really elongate and get the most out of this exercise. The more opposition we can get in any movement, the more you're going to feel it. So I want you to really think about lengthening through every single movement that you have. Good. Keep going. Just a few more here. Now lift both feet up and we're gonna move into some scissor kicks. So similar to motion to what you did to 2 moves ago, but this time you wanna try and straighten the top leg as much as possible. All of us have different ranges of flexibility, so if the knee bends a little bit, that's totally fine, but just kick, and kick. So you're pulling in for 2 counts and then switching the legs. You want your head and chest lifted throughout the whole exercise. Good, moving on to another one, just bring the legs down and lower them back up. So most of you guys are familiar with this as leg lifts that you have in the gym, but this time I want you to lift your head and shoulders off of the mat, it's gonna help to engage even more and make this a little bit harder. If you're finding this difficult, you can make it a little bit easier by not lowering the legs all the way down, or you can go ahead and rest your head and shoulders down onto the mat, whatever you need. Just a few more here. Keep pressing those ribs really, really deep into the mat and keep your shoulders rolled back. Good, you guys are killing it. Squeeze those legs together and lift them back up. Good, now bend the knees and move straight into bicycles. No resting, keep going. So we're just bicycling and switching the legs. Good, you guys are doing so good. Keep going. I feel like this move everyone's super familiar with, so it should feel comfortable. Not necessarily comfortable, like you're probably like, no, this burns, but you guys are very familiar with it, which I feel like is always nice when you're doing little workout classes to be like, oh, I know this one. Keep going, you're almost there, and done, you made it. Go ahead and let your legs and head fall down onto the mat. Take a breath here before we move into our next little sequence. So unfortunately, you guys might hate me, but we're moving back into the same movement that we started this class with. So pick those legs back up, place them in bend them to 90, and then just lower and lift the leg up and down. The good thing is this time your arms are down long by your side. So this kind of helps if you feel like you have any tension in your neck. Our neck and shoulders and everything was just lifted and did a lot of work. So this is nice to kind of have those relaxed, but still really focusing on that lower core. I feel like everyone's always like, I really want to work the lower part. I want to work the lower part. I feel like that's like the difficult area to get. And these movements are going to help to really target that area specifically and get you the deep core exercises that you hear people talk about. Good. So if you haven't already switched legs, make sure you have. We're just lowering and lifting. Keep breathing. We're almost done with the core sequence, and then we're gonna move into a little bit of booty work. So now just switching the legs back and forth. So bending and switching. You guys are so close here, last few. And you guys might kill me, but you're gonna thank me later. We're doing this whole set one more time. So coming back to just straightening and lowering the right leg up and down. Keep breathing. I know this gets really, really challenging. So just lifting and lowering. If you're seeing like that chest start to pick up a little bit or the back start to arch, I want you to bring your knee closer towards you. That's gonna help to make this movement a little bit easier. You're already done with one side. So just finishing up this other side, lowering and lifting. After this, we just have to finish once again with the back and forth. So you're targeting one side at a time. I really like to isolate one side first and then move to doing incorporating both sides. I feel like it helps the mind muscle connection just a little bit more. And here we go. So start kicking the legs back and forth, rolling those shoulders back and elongating through the fingertips. I promise this is the last little part of abs for now, and then you'll get a little bit of break, but then you're gonna move into some booty burn, and once that booty starts burning, you're gonna be wishing you were doing abs. Great. You can bend the knees into the chest, take a little stretch, but we're moving straight into some hip thrusts. I love these. You guys know this is definitely a staple in all of my workouts, so just lifting the glutes up and down. The slower you do this and the more you think about squeezing your glutes at the top, the more you're going to feel it in your glutes specifically. A lot of times people will be like, I feel it in my quads, I feel it in my hamstrings, whatever that might be. And really the key is to just think about squeezing the glutes and squeezing the muscle you want to activate more and more. Good. Now pulse up and down, just about 2 inches. You're going up, up, up. This just speeds it up, and I feel like for me helps to really target those glutes even more. Good. Now hold. We're moving into a single leg, so pick both your arms and right leg up and just lower up and down. So similar pulses to what we were just doing, except this time you're on just one leg. So try and straighten the leg that's up as much as possible. If you can straighten behind the knee, that's the goal, but even mine isn't fully straight. And now we're lowering the arms and leg down and lifting it up. So your hips should stay lifted. You're just lowering the leg down to parallel and lifting it back up. Good. Adding the arms here helps to just target more, and I feel like turn on the whole body. You're also having to balance a little bit more when you have the arms working as well. So I love adding in multiple body parts as often as possible. Good. Now just pulse it up and down once again. Good. Back to those pulses, pulsing up and down. Now we're going to do the whole set once again. You'll notice that in a lot of the stuff we're doing today, we have 2 sets of 2. I feel like that helps to just once you understand the movement, especially virtually and online, then you can start to really think about what you're doing and how can you make it even better. So now we're back to the lowering of the leg and arms and lifting them back up. So super short little sequences, but it's a nice repetition. So lowering down and back up. Once again, you only have this 2 times through, and then we just switch to the other side. So you guys are almost done on this side, lifting up and lifting down. Good. You guys look so good. And back to those pulses to finish off. Pulse, pulse, pulse. Amazing. Really stabilize that upper body. Last few here. and bend that knee down. You guys can take a little break if you need to shake it out. If you're ready to keep going straight into it, then we're just gonna kind of even those hips back out in the whole body. So just lift the hips up and down, back to those hip thrusts we started in before we move on to the other side. So lift up and down, up and down. Last few, and then get ready to pick up that other leg and just do everything we just did on the right leg on the left leg. Good. You might feel that this side is always a little bit harder just because you did so much work on one side. So if you're someone that always starts, let's say on your right side, I would invite you to kind of try to start on the other side. It might challenge you actually a little bit more. I feel like we all always, whether it's any part of your body, there's always one side of the body that's stronger, or like the muscles might appear a little bit bigger. And that's typically because it's our more dominant side and where we tend to start exercises with. So if you want to kind of change that or start to balance it out, then start with the opposite one. It doesn't matter as long as you're getting the same movement on both sides. It doesn't matter if you're starting with right when I'm starting with left, or you're starting with left while I'm starting with right. Just do whatever you need to work through the most. So see, we're almost done with even the first set here, just finishing with those pulses and repeating, starting again with pulses. So just keep that motion going, lifting up and lifting down. Good. This looks amazing. Keep pulsing. Really lift the hips up higher if you can. Really try and push the hips up as high as possible. Good. Now again, lowering the arms and legs down and lifting them back up. Try and keep the hips completely still during this motion. When your leg lowers down, I do not want your hips to drop down at all. So really push and drive your right heel or whatever foot's down into the mat to stabilize you even more. Last few here. And then we're gonna finish with those pulses on this side. So again, just pulsing up and up and up. Keep going, you guys are almost done, and then you can kind of take a little break. You guys are doing so good. You're already past the 10-minute mark. And go ahead and rest everything down. Good, bend it into the chest. Take a nice breath, a little breather. I know you guys have done a lot of work. And when you're ready, go ahead and just roll up to a seated position. Get yourself comfortable, and then you're gonna scoot back so that you're on your forearms, and you're gonna pick your legs back up to that 90 degrees that we've had them at. This is a very familiar position. This time your upper body is just raised, so it just helps and feels a little bit different, but I like to start on the mat before we move to this. So as you can tell, I'm just lifting, lowering the legs down and lifting it back up. And we're just doing one leg at a time, so tapping the heel onto the mat and lifting it back up. You wanna roll those shoulders back and really press the forearms into the mat to give you support. Again, the closer your leg, the farther the legs are from you, the harder this is going to be. The closer the legs are to you, the easier it's going to be. So just something to think about. Good. You guys are doing a great job here. Last few. And now we're going to isolate one side of the body. So just lower the right leg down and lift it back up. Lower it straight and lift up. Good. I want you to really stabilize that upper leg. So the leg that's not moving, keep it in the exact same position. Don't move it, don't shake it. The only thing that should be moving is that leg that is straightening towards the mat and lifting back up. You can tell here that I'm not resting the leg on the ground. I'm just hovering it right, maybe a centimeter or two off the ground, and that's the goal. Switch the legs. So again, lowering down straight and just slightly hovering. Do not touch or take a break down there. You guys are so close and almost done, especially getting off of your core. This is also starting to warm up the upper body a little bit, just because those forearms are in the upper body's having to work a little bit, pressing into the mat and stabilizing your body. Great, you guys made it. So from this place, I want you to go ahead and bring your legs out straight and come up onto your hands. This is going to be like a very shallow dip position if you're familiar with it, and just start to dip yourself down and lift it up. We don't have too many, like I promised. It's a very short little arm sequence. Good. So now I want you to start pulsing this. You're just going to stay at the lower range of motion and pulse much smaller movements. Again, those 2 inches, maybe even 2 centimeters here, up and down, up and down. Now hold, don't drop yet, and repeat this. So do full motions all the way down and lifting all the way up. Try and bring your hips towards your hands as much as possible. That's going to make this even harder. This time, the more far away your hips are, the easier it will be. So we're going to finish with those little pulses. So pulse, pulse. It looks kind of silly, but it is very beneficial. Your triceps will thank me later and they'll look real good. Now go ahead and flip over and move straight into push-ups. My camera was kind of dying here, so we're working with what we got, but just do push-ups down and lift them up. Just traditional push-ups, whatever you need to do. Now I want you to go to the bottom and hold this range of motion. It's not super long. Keep holding and pulsing. Pulse, pulse, bringing it back to those 2 inches up, 2 inches down. Now, once again, this is your last set of the whole thing, so I want you to give me everything you got. Lower all the way down and lift all the way back up. It is not long, and hold on this next one. Good, you guys are doing so good. Don't give up, please, 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 and start pulsing. This is your last section until you get to take a little break, and you made it. Go ahead and stretch it out. Do whatever you need to do. Bend over, come into a ball, go into a child's pose, whatever feels best, and I'll see you guys next time in another video.